share with us what the mayor said to her when he asked her to assume this massive obligation and task, because all of these projects you've heard about Sherman Oaks, you have to expand citywide. Sherman Oaks is not much different than other areas, so these same problems with new projects are spreading. So I'd like to introduce our speaker this evening, who will explain what her plans are to allow you to drive in a sensible speed throughout the city of Los Angeles. General Manager of the Department of Transportation, Rita Robinson.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's very nice to be here tonight and to greet so many of you. There are a lot of familiar faces, and many of you I've seen in other roles that I've played in the city. And so it's very nice to see so many of you again tonight in my new role as head of the Department of Transportation. Down a little bit? Okay. I first want to thank so many of the staff that are here, from both the mayoral staff and council staff that are here. It's very nice to have you here tonight, especially from my staff. It's nice to have Brian Gallagher here, that I know that you know that has worked on so many of your projects. Can you give Brian a hand? I know that he's worked with many things for many of you. I met a gentleman named Larry that works in our traffic enforcement. I didn't get Larry's last name, but I really appreciate you being here tonight. And my gratitude to many of you that I've known in the community who have worked in other offices of the city of Los Angeles and in other capacities under Mayor Reardon, Mayor Hahn, and now Mayor Barbosa. I especially want to acknowledge Judy and Arthur Hirschberg, who are here tonight, as very dear friends of mine from many years ago. Judy and I often joke that we are joined at the hip as twins. And she's my twin sister. We worked together in a cubicle 30 years ago. We were just toddlers then, and we are still toddlers now. But we have been on a long journey over many years, and a deep and abiding friendship. So it's very nice to see the two of you here tonight. And there are many other friends here, and I count all of you among friends. Because you're right, Mr. Close, that in reality, the things that you're dealing with in Sherman Oaks are the things that everyone in every community in this city are dealing with. And if we take that even further, it's what people are dealing with throughout the nation with regard to traffic issues. I am very touched by your announcement of my coming. I wasn't sure if I would find it in my local post office or not, because it's one of the most wanted. But I can assure you that being asked by Mayor Barbosa to do this job, I probably can't share in the public what I may have said to him in private. It probably wouldn't be proper. However, what I did say is that, as I've said about every job I've held in the city of Los Angeles over the last 30 years, is that I would do my best, and that I would take the charge and try to do my best. Traffic and issues regarding traffic are renowned. All of us drive or take public transportation, I hope, or in some way or another get around in this city. And so being able to get from place to place is really what's important to people, to be able to do the things that add to our quality of life, whether they're getting our children to school, getting ourselves to the doctors, recreational activities, shopping, whatever it is that we do, it's important to be able to get around. Los Angeles is just a city that over the years has not planned other ways of getting around other than by automobile. So we spend a lot of money on our infrastructure with regard to getting around in automobiles, and we abandoned many ideas regarding how we get around other than automobiles. And then when I asked the question of how many automobiles individuals have in their household, it begins to really clear why we're in the situation that we're in, because there used to be a thing called a family car, and I haven't heard that since the time of Leave It to Beaver. And many of you may know how long ago that is. But it's not, it's really, when I see some of the young people here tonight, at about 13, young people begin to salivate over the car that they're going to get. And that means whether they're affluent families or not so affluent families, but every child dreams about the car they're going to get, and most of us are not real patient about when we're going to get it. I worked for the city for the first 5 years before I bought my own car, and I took public transportation until I got there. That was 25 years ago now. However, young people today, if you ask them to wait 5 minutes, they're ready to fling themselves off to the top of the nearest mountain because it's a tragedy that, God forbid, you'd have to wait 5 minutes for anything. So our society has changed. And so when I talk to groups and individuals in my short tenure in this job, I often explain the part that, you know, kind of made me think about the job very closely, is that we are traffic. It's not some alien being that laid across the city of Los Angeles and somehow took us in, like the pod people. We are traffic. And so many of us, even single people, own more than one car. Many families own 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. And so our problem, as we acknowledge it, has grown tremendously. And our ability to keep up with it has been woefully underserved, underacknowledged, and underfunded. So that is why we're in the quandary we're in. And at the same time, development, as many of you have described in your reports just a few minutes ago, have really overlaid an already existing fundamental structural problem. So we've overlaid more development and more people and more population on top of that problem. So when people ask me, well, Rita, you're going to solve traffic, I very quickly tell them that one of the things I've learned in all of my jobs is that I don't make promises I can't keep. So no, I will not solve the traffic problem. But together, we will all solve the traffic problems that we have. And we'll do it one step at a time. We'll do it one punch list item at a time. And certainly I'm aware of some of the things that have tortured some of your communities, and certainly your community, over the years. I sat down with Councilmember Gruel's office and talked about some of the issues that had bothered you. I sat down with Councilmember Perry today about some of the issues that bothered her, and Councilmember Parks. And it's just amazing to me that it would begin to sound like the same record. Very different parts of the city, very different demographics, very different socio-demographics, and yet when it comes to transportation, many of the same kind of problems and some of the issues that we're dealing with downtown, South Los Angeles, San Pedro, East Los Angeles, they're all the same. They're very much the same in their attempt. And my approach to things that are problems, if many of you have any idea about my background, it was related to trash at first. Sunshine Canyon was the first thing I acknowledged when I got the job in sanitation. And CD12, Councilmember Smith, was concerned about Sunshine Canyon's role. We listened very intently as a department of the Bureau of Sanitation. We listened to the problems, we listened to some of the issues that revolved around trash, and then we began to carve out ways that we could approach it. And I'm really proud that the Bureau of Sanitation has taken such major steps in the right direction to try to solve some of the problems that exist. And even Councilmember Smith, for all of the craziness that we went through, he and I have become very good friends in the ability to say, I'm the person that will listen, we will begin to build bridges, and then we will begin to show results. And I will look at this problem the same way. I will listen very intently to some of the problems that you have encountered. I am aware of some of the things that we talked about recently. I know that there have been discussions, as you reported, regarding Library Square and some of the issues regarding the Best Buy and some of the other businesses that are there. Brian has informed me that we're very much working closely with regard to the budget that's there, some of the issues that we have with the cost of those bump outs and the promises that were made, and that we will work closely with Pat, Lexi, and her staff so that we will make sure that we have a communication and that we solve the problem. I'm all about results, folks. I don't really have a whole lot that, all I do is do my job and make sure